set. Well, our next teller, Walt Belcher, spent 35 years as a reporter, feature writer, and columnist for the Tampa Tribune. Walt's sharing stories about growing up in the South, Florida folk tales, history, and even ghost stories. He has competed in and won, story slams all over the state of Florida. He's a regular at the Florida Folk Night at the Old Key West Bar and Grill in St. Pete. Now, I don't want to say that's kind of a quirky place, but I've been there before. And some family that lives down there in Dunedin. He was recently featured at the Tampa Theater's Ghost Story Night. His story tonight is called The Great Gator Chase. He must be about Georgia playing now, I guess.
So I have a real Florida character and an unreal story. Now this guy's name was Tom Gaskins. I don't know if any of you know who Tom Gaskins was, but if you went all the way down Highway 27, past Sebring, you're going down there past Lake Placid, a place called Palmdale, Tom Gaskins had the Cypress Knee Museum. He opened it in 1930, and it stayed in existence till 2000. And Tom collected cypress knees. He was always barefoot, never wore shoes, and he walked out into the swamps, and he got cypress knees. And he cut them, and he had all different kinds of shapes. And if you went into his museum, it only cost $1 when he first opened, and you would see a hippopotamus with a Carmen Miranda hat, or George Washington with a broken nose, or John Wayne holding an alligator. It was imagination. You had to read the label to see what Tom saw. And his museum was famous. And on one side of the road, way down there on the swamps, near Fish Eating Creek Preserve, he had his museum. Across the road, he built a catwalk out into the swamp. And it was kind of an unintentional thrill ride because it was so rickety when he walked out on it. And making it more exciting was there's an alligator underneath it named Pokey. Now Pokey had wandered down from Gatorama, another roadside attraction, and parked himself under Tom's boardwalk. And he grew to be 18 feet long, and people thought he was dead, but he was really just asleep most of the time. And Tom threw him scraps all the time. And so Tom was also an inventor, and he invented a swamp mobile, among many things. And he built 2 prototypes. It was a cross between a jet ski, a snowmobile, and motorcycle. 2-seaters, and he made 2 prototypes and had them parked right there on that boardwalk in case anybody wanted to go for a ride. Nobody ever did. And things were great. He was famous. Every newspaper interviewed him, and he was known all over the state for years. And then, you know, Disney came along, and the interstates came along, and poor old Tom just wasn't getting any business. And he was down to having that Pokey as his friend, and he had a little monkey. He got this monkey from Gibsonton. The monkey had been with a carnival, but they cut his show business career short because he kept making obscene hand gestures. They said, this monkey can't stay, so the monkey named Petey goes to live with Tom. And Tom, he sits on Tom's shoulder all the time, but Tom doesn't trust his bodily functions, so he puts a diaper on Petey every day. And Petey stores food scraps in the front of the diaper, and you can imagine what's in the back of the diaper. And so, but he changes it every day. So Tom is pretty much alone, he and Petey and the Cypress Knee Museum, and people aren't going down 27 anymore. And one day, it's a hot, hot day, this big, black, shiny Lincoln pulls up. And these 2 guys in there, they're drug dealers from Miami. And they've taken the back road so that they won't get caught by the narcs. And they are disguised as fishermen. They have on black patent leather shoes, black socks, Bermuda shorts, Hawaiian shirts, and Panama hats, and dark glasses. And in the trunk of the car, they have 2 fishing rods and a styrofoam ice chest that's got 4 bags of cocaine stapled to the bottom of it, good and tight, and it's packed on top with chicken livers and chicken gizzards. Now it's hot. And they've been, Louie and Joey are their names. They drove up from Miami, and by the time they get to Palmdale, they just can't stand the smell of those chicken livers and the chicken gizzards. So they pull over, and I got to get rid of this, Joey. He says, I can't stand it. I don't care. We're going to dump it out at this abandoned attraction. It's not really abandoned. And as they get out, they open up the trunk. Up walks Tom. Now Tom has been out in the a lot in the sun. He began to look like a piece of cypress. And also he had carved a helmet out of cypress, and he put it on his head, and he wore it, and it looked like a paper bag. And then he had the monkey on his shoulder. He said, "What are you guys doing here? You want to see my museum?" They said, "No, we're just getting rid of these chicken livers, these tube givers. They smell awful." And he says, "Well, you can dump them here, but could you just go over to the boardwalk a little bit and dump them over there for my gator? Because, you know, he hadn't had anything to eat in a while. And don't worry, he won't bite you. He's old and he's slow." And they look at each other and they think, well, we dump it out, he'll see the cocaine. And Louis pats he's got a snub-nosed revolver in his Bermuda shorts. And so they're going to do it. They're going to shoot Tom and maybe the monkey. And so they're going single file on that boardwalk. There's Tom and the monkey Petey, and there's Joe Louis carrying the pistol in his pocket, and Joey carrying the styrofoam full of chicken livers. And Tom looks back and he sees that he's pulling for his gun. He jumps up and down with his bare feet, stomps on it starts shaking. Louis drops the gun. Joey drops the styrofoam. It hits the gator right in the head. The gator chomps. He eats the whole thing, the whole shebang, all 4 bags of cocaine, the styrofoam, all the chicken livers. Suddenly the gator has got a rage. His eyes are bulging. He flies out of the water and onto the boardwalk, all 18 feet of it. And there goes Tom and the Petey. They jump on the jet ski, the swampmobile. And then Louis and Joey jump on the other one, and they start chasing each other, and the gator's after them. All 3 of them are going down through the swamp, zigzagging across through the cypress knees. And the monkey's getting excited. And he starts throwing stuff. He throws a banana peel out, throws an apple core out. He reaches in the back and throws out something that smells worse than the chicken livers. It hits Joey right smack in the face. He crashes into a tree, and they go flying into the air. About that time, Pokey the gator comes over and gets them both with one bite. And Tom Gaskins never told anybody this story, and he never ever explained how he got to drive around in a bright, shiny new Lincoln.